Welcome to the I Can Do Anything podcast. My name is Colin, and today the I Can Do Anything podcast is on the road. I am currently located in Tyler, Texas. I am here for work with the university. I am filming the DIII Softball World Series. I spoke a couple episodes ago about how I was about to go film the Super Regional Game 2 and, if necessary, Game 3 of the Super Regional at Trine. And maybe you've heard about the results. The results of Trine University winning the Super Regional have actually received quite a bit of national attention. I was actually going to talk about it with Dob because it happened last Saturday, and Dob and I spoke and recorded the last episode on Sunday, and we just didn't get to it. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to Dob and I's episode 55. Where we talked about the NBA playoffs, but it was kind of an episode centered around the new Tyler, the Creator album, Igor, that came out last Friday. So it was a long one. I don't know if it was long. It was about the same length as most of the episodes that I do with Dob. But we didn't get to the softball talk, so here I am talking about softball. Before I get into the Super Regional victory, first, I want to tell you about Sportage. Listeners of the I Can Do Anything podcast obviously love sports, and the best way to keep up with the latest in all your favorite sports, leagues, teams, and players is Sportage. Sportage lets you customize alerts for all your favorites. It features articles from award-winning sports journalists and has an easy-to-use interactive layout. Download the Sportage app today and buy Sneaker Retort. We all buy shoes, some of us more than others, but regardless of how much the shoes you purchase cost or how often you purchase them, it's nice to know ahead of time if you're getting what you paid for. Sneaker Retort is the leading discussion board in the world for reviewing sneakers and is used by sneakerheads from Bangladesh to Machu Picchu. Learn about your favorite brands and connect with retail sellers. After your purchase, give a rating and review of the seller and the product so that those interested in that seller or a particular shoe or the brand can make an educated decision before they spend their hard-earned money. Whether you're a collector, a manual labor worker, a runner, or a fashionista, Sneaker Report is your home for witty, sharp, angry, delighted, and incisive remarks, accusations, and satisfactory banter. Our members are passionate about footwear. If you have a passion for what protects your soles, sign up for a free membership to receive early release notifications and our daily newsletter featuring the latest in trends and discounts around the world of kicks. Okay, so we landed in Tyler, Texas yesterday, and wait a minute, that's not what I was going to do. I was going to talk about the Super Regional victory. So, Trine University won Super Regionals using a hidden ball trick. I was filming, and I didn't really get it. I got it, but I was like out wide because I was zoomed out wide because it was between pitches, and generally I don't film in between pitches. My baseball background should have told me otherwise. Because I know that the ball is still live, technically, between pitches. And between a pitch, our catcher threw the ball back to our pitcher, and they had called out a play at a mound visit with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Softball only plays 7 innings. And I think the other team probably just didn't think about a trick play because why the fuck would you, pretty much. And because there were 2 outs in the bottom of the last inning with runners on second and first. And I don't know, I think most teams, any coach with any kind of experience is probably going to take a mound visit or possibly even make a switch and bring in a closer in that kind of situation. So during the mound visit, they called this hidden ball trick play where the catcher threw it back to the pitcher caught it and then quick turned and faked a throw to second. The shortstop and the second baseman both dove towards the bag, and then the center fielder dove as well. And they kind of sold as if the ball had been thrown into center field, and then they all started running towards center field after the center fielder dove. She stood up, started running towards the fence, and then the girl that was on second base running, she like really didn't even have that much of a lead, and she was standing on the bag, kind of like she was basically on the bag by the time she made the fake throw. And then she like looked back into center field and just started running. And so Kate Soppe, our pitcher who made the fake throw, she was like jumping up and down. I assume she was like, oh fuck, get the ball, trying to simulate that she just made an error basically. And as soon as she saw the girl break for third, she stopped celebrating and ran towards her base path. And since she still had the ball, tagged her out. And I was standing right next to our coach. Right fucking next to him. And he didn't tap me on the shoulder and be like, yo, we're about to run this hidden ball trick. You know, pay attention. Don't pan out to center field. It tricked me because I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I just had the camera out really wide. And so when Kate ran to tag the girl that was on the base path, the girl that was on second going towards third, I got it. I was like in the side, like towards the left side of my screen, but it was just so far out wide that you really couldn't even tell what was happening. Luckily, we were broadcasting the game live, and I went back and pulled the footage from our broadcast, and we put together a little, I kind of combined my footage, because as the team ran out onto the field to celebrate, I went out there with them and shot them celebrating a little bit. So I kind of spliced the footage together, and then we sent it out, or I sent it out to our SIDs and put it on YouTube, and it has done like way better than I thought it was going to. I was initially told like we should probably get that on YouTube because, or just out publicly because like that was pretty fucking cool. And just the moment really, like to send you to the College World Series and to win the Super Regional is kind of, I think, what gives it, I think it's what makes it a storyline for it to call that play and for it to work in such a big moment. So the day I posted it Saturday night, and then on Monday morning it had 10,000 views already. And then we arrived in Texas at like 2 o'clock local time yesterday on Tuesday, and it was at 115,000 views. So Saturday, that Saturday night, the night that it happened, our SIDs, when they put it on Twitter, they hashtagged it Sports Center. They added it at Sports Center, and then they hashtagged SC Top 10. And it was number 9 on the top 10 that night. It has since been picked up by all kinds of different publications. It's been on the Kansas City Star, I believe. It was on Fox National News yesterday. It was on Around the Horn yesterday. And it's all been my video. Now it's admittedly not my best camera work, and the money shot, the one that that everybody's using, is the shot from the live stream because it was up in the press box behind home plate and kind of got you the overall view of the field. But they used my footage from the girls hoisting the trophy, and yeah, it's been pretty cool. As we were traveling yesterday in Indianapolis, we had a number of people stop and say something to us and like ask who was involved and talk to the coaches and congratulated them. And then when we got into Dallas, we had a number of people in Dallas say stuff to us. They just saw Trine University, and a lot of people flew into Dallas for this World Series, like the other teams and things flew into Dallas, and I think just generally softball people down here in Texas, people, they fucking love their baseball, and they love their softball. So that whole thing has been pretty cool. So I've been around the softball team. I've been around the baseball softball atmosphere for the last 2 days, really. Today we had practice, essentially, it was like a full practice, essentially. They got to hit for an hour, and then they did field stuff for an hour. It's been really cool. It's bringing me back to my baseball days. I really wanted to take some swings and field some ground balls. I was spitting sunflower seeds. It felt great, man. It felt fantastic. But unfortunately, I didn't get to do that because, I'm just a video guy. So I'm here shooting video. I kind of after it happened, I just texted my boss and said, I've never been to Texas before. And 2 days later, I had a text from the softball coach in the morning asking me my full name and my date of birth because he was booking my ticket with the team and my hotel with the team. So I'm currently at a Holiday Inn in Tyler, Texas. The team is out at the banquet tonight that I didn't feel it was necessary for me to film. So I'm just chilling in the hotel room and I'm just talking into a microphone. You know how I do. So I should probably... This is the I Can Do Anything podcast. I can do anything, but it wouldn't be the I Can Do Anything podcast if I didn't talk a little hoops. So, the Warriors swept the Blazers. I don't know if you know this, but it's over. And not surprising. Damian Lillard was a little injured, but it's not a good enough excuse for me. A separated rib, that's not hurt enough. I don't really know what to say about the Blazers and the Warriors series. I think it was pretty predictable. I don't know if many people would have thought that they'd sweep, but I think certainly a large majority of people had the Warriors winning that series. I really don't have much. It'll be interesting to see in the East who comes out of the East. We're certainly not going to get a sweep. It's amazing how a series can turn. Yeah, I'm just going to ditch the Warriors and the Blazers. There's nothing to say, really. The Warriors are fucking good. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green are still Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. They're still really, really damn good. In the East, though, the Bucks won the first 2 games, and now the Raptors have won the second 2 games. Game 3 was a fucking doozy. Game 3 was great. 3 overtimes. Kawhi Leonard was sensational. I think he had 8 or 9 in the final overtime. Let's see. Pull up the box score from that game, which took place on, Sunday, Game 3. Show me the box score. Okay. Giannis was pretty bad by Giannis standards. He only had 12 points, but he did have 23 fucking rebounds and 7 assists. He had 8 turnovers, which is far too many. Just way too many turnovers. 1 steal and 4 blocks. Shot pretty poorly from the field. He was 5 of 16, 31% from the field. He normally shoots a way, way higher percentage than that. From the free throw line, he was 2 of 7 in Game 4. He airballed a couple of free throws, or maybe he airballed one in Game 3 as well. But they didn't get tons from the bench. Brogdon had 20, and George Hill had 24. I guess that's pretty good bench production. But Ilyasova, who played great in Game 2, only had 2 points in Game 3. Brook Lopez had 16, but the Raptors were great. Kawhi Leonard had 36. Pascal Siakam had 25. Marc Gasol had 16. Powell has been really amazing in this series. He had a great Game 3 and a great Game 4. He had 19 points in Game 3. And that's what happened in Game 3. All right? In Game 4, which was last night, the Raptors kind of blew them out. It was good for a little while, and then it wasn't. The final score was 120 to 102. And again, Kawhi Leonard was pretty good. He didn't have nearly as impressive of a scoring total. He finished with 19 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals, 2 blocks, 46% from the field, 1 of 3, 33% from 3. But Siakam, Siakam only had 7. Marc Gasol played well, had 17. Kyle Lowry played his best game of the series, had 25 points. I only say that it was his best game of the series because Game 1 he had more points than that, but they lost. And then they got tons of bench production, 17 from Ibaka off the bench. Again, Powell has been great in this series, or at least great in the last 2 games. He finished with 18. Van Vliet finished with 13. It'll be interesting to see where this series goes. I mean, I thought that the Bucks were going to win in 5 initially once they won those first 2 games. The Raptors kind of seemed like they were down and out. Dobb had a great point though. Playing in Toronto, those fans really, really helped. They gave a great surge for that team, and now it goes back to Milwaukee. I see this one probably going 7 now. I think Milwaukee probably bounces back and wins Game 5. And then I don't know how the last 3 games of a series work. I think now that we're in the Western Conference Finals, I think it goes 2-2, 1-1-1. So it'll be Game 5 will be home at Milwaukee if that's the case, and then it'd go to Toronto for Game 6, and Game 7 would be in Milwaukee. I think I don't know. It's really hard to tell. The Bucks supporting cast hasn't been nearly as good. They've got home court advantage though, so I think maybe this series is a win at home series. I think it'll just be all home wins, and the Bucks will probably win in 7. I'm going to go with the Bucks in 7. I think the Raptors probably have a better chance at beating the Warriors, just because they've got Kawhi Leonard. Giannis Antetokounmpo is obviously great. But I don't think he's quite the same as Kawhi Leonard. He's just not as good of an all-around player or an all-around defender. Kawhi can probably guard more positions than Giannis can. So I think that's about all I got. The next game is tomorrow in that series. I do want to talk about the all-defensive team that came out today. But first, what an opportunity our listeners have today. Thanks to the listeners of the I Can Do Anything podcast, everyone needs a little bit of light in their life, and in my professional career as a videographer, I could always use a fluorescent light or two. Fluorescent Things is my go-to online store for all things fluorescent, whether it's your standard overhead light, photo or video lighting, commercial lighting, or something simple for your home, maybe for a reading nook, work desk, or even a construction site with various fixture types, sizes, bulbs, shapes, even a repair department. Fluorescent Things will fill your life with light. They even have really random, obscure things like hats with fluorescent lights, fluorescent light for your bike tires, and much more for all the people out there that like to make a statement. Fluorescent Things is the largest fluorescent sales company in the world, and our listeners, the I Can Do Anything podcast listeners, get a 25% discount if you use the promo code THINGS at checkout. That's promo code THINGS at your time of purchase for 25% off. Thanks again for listening to the I Can Do Anything podcast. Okay, so the all-defensive teams came out today, and there was one thing that I wanted to touch on about the all-defensive teams. It was a comment that Miles Turner of the Indianapolis, or I guess the Indiana Pacers, made about not being selected to the all-defensive team. He said something along the lines of something about blatant disrespect, or I don't know what the hell he said. Right now, for some reason, the Wi-Fi at this damn hotel isn't working. I mean, what kind of hotel has you logged into the Wi-Fi? My Wi-Fi is on. I got a check next to the Holiday Inn Wi-Fi thingy. Nothing's loading. My fucking phone won't load. What kind of world am I living in? What's going on? I'm just a guy out here trying to do a fucking podcast, and I can't do it. Well, I can do it. I'm still doing it, but things are getting a little difficult here when I'm trying to use the internet. While I'm thinking about it, Juwan Howard is now the new Michigan head coach. I think it's a great hire. I think it's a phenomenal hire for Michigan. I hope he's not as good as John Beilein, but I think from a recruiting standpoint, Juwan Howard will be great. I know a lot of these kids that he'll be recruiting won't know who the hell he is or who the hell he was for Michigan, but obviously if they love the game of basketball and if they just do a little research, you can see that Juwan Howard was one of the greats, a member of the Fab Five. I think it's a fantastic hire for Michigan. Now that it's happened, it seems really obvious. Like, it seems like, why wouldn't they hire Juwan Howard? But come on, you damn. I just want to see the all defensive teams. Where are they at? Maybe they're on the NBA app. There we go. Okay, so it's probably not going to show me Miles Turner's comments on this, is it? No, it's not. Okay. The all defensive teams were as follows: Rudy Gobert, Paul George, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Marcus Smart, and Eric Bledsoe on the first team. And then all defensive second team: Drew Holiday, Klay Thompson, Joel Embiid, Draymond Green, and Kawhi Leonard. I have a question for you, Miles Turner. They kind of sound the same, right? Sort of. Who of the big guys between Rudy Gobert, Antetokounmpo, Embiid, and Draymond Green, who are you better at defense than? Because to me, and to most people, and to obviously the people that are smart enough to be voters for the all-defensive team. I don't know if that's an AP vote, like if journalists do the voting for the all-defensive team, or if that's done by coaches, or how it's done. But obviously they don't feel the same either. Rudy Gobert is a better defender than you. He led the league in blocks. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a better all-around defender than you. He could possibly he's up for Defensive Player of the Year. On the second team, Joel Embiid was second or third in blocks, I want to say, throughout the year. And Miles Turner was seventh in blocks. Draymond Green finished eighth in blocks this season, but Draymond's a former Defensive Player of the Year and can guard far more positions than Miles Turner can. Switches way better on the pick and roll and just guards the pick and roll in general way better. Like, I don't see where Miles Turner, like, obviously Miles Turner, you should want to be on the defensive team, and you should vouch for yourself. I'm not faulting them for that, but just I wish I knew what the fucking quote was, because it's not. I'm just gonna say that he said blatant disrespect. I'm gonna just put words in Miles Turner's mouth. No one listens to this thing anyways. They're not gonna like turn around and hate Miles Turner's just because I said that he said this. But Miles Turner, you're not good enough. Nobody's fucking paying attention. You play for the Indianapolis Pacers. I know that they're not the Indianapolis Pacers, but to me that seems like that's what they should be called. You play for the Indiana Pacers. Play harder next year. Be a better defender. Block more shots. Take your team further in the playoffs. I know it's a regular season award, but I think they vote before the playoffs even start. But it wouldn't hurt you to take your team a little further in the playoffs. Anyways, I think Miles Turner's one of these guys that I call a Walmart superstar. All right. What else am I going to talk about? I read an article earlier. It was called the six things that likable people do. but I can't fucking show it to you. I can't read it to you. I thought it was really interesting and a nice little change of pace on a day where I didn't really have much to talk about and it's hot as fuck outside. I thought that would be a nice little new kind of topic or segment here on the I Can Do Anything podcast, but I don't have internet. And if I don't have internet, you might not actually be listening to this because I may have not actually posted it. And if you are listening to it, I figured the internet out. I don't know what to do here, guys. Should I restart my computer? Yeah, let's go with that. I'm going to restart my computer, and maybe in the meantime, the internet will work. Not in the meantime. Maybe when I get back, the internet will work. There was another thing that I wanted to talk about that just I'm scrolling through the headlines on the NBA. It's amazing to me that this is a headline. There were some comments made by Mike Budenholzer about Drake's involvement in this series between the Raptors and the Bucks, and I thought it was pretty funny. There were two things that I kind of took away from it. Number one, Mike Budenholzer, why are you commenting on what Drake is doing during the game, and why are you paying attention to what Drake is doing during the game? You're the head coach of a team that is competing in the Eastern Conference Finals. Why the fuck are you paying attention and commenting about what Drake is doing during the games? To me, it sort of signals like a little bit of worry, a little bit of panic in the Bucks. And if I were the Raptors, I would feed off of that. And I would assume Drake will clap back. He's probably not going to rap about it, but he's got a fucking Twitter account, so I'm sure he'll say some shit on Twitter about it. That being said, I don't really mind what Drake does. I don't like people calling him the new Spike Lee because it's Drake, man. I don't know. It's fucking Drake. To me, Spike Lee was way more of a Knicks super fan than Drake is a Toronto Raptors fan. I had a couple takeaways, and now I can't remember what they were. I guess the biggest one was just that I was sort of amazed that Budenholzer is even commenting on it, and I think it's stupid. I think it just shows that you're scared of Drake possibly making an impact on your players, and God, I hope he isn't making an impact on your players. Giannis was airballing free throws, and Drake was talking shit to him. There was a video of him grabbing, kind of like rubbing Nick Nurse, the Raptors head coach's shoulders after a big play or something. I don't know. It's cool, Drake. Do your thing, man. I think it's great that he's involved. I think it's great that he's got fucking amazing seats to all these games. I just thought it was weird that Mike Budenholzer would comment on it. I don't really think I have anything else to talk about because I just restarted my computer. This shit is still not loading, so I'm probably not even get to fucking post this. This is just gonna be me talking for like a half hour to myself, and no one's ever gonna hear it. If I posted it, though, no one would really listen to it anyways. Thank you for listening to this episode of the I Can Do Anything podcast that has been brought to you by Slump. Dave Jarzina's debut novel is the tale of a 13-year-old named Mitchie Evers. He's at odds with every single person in his life. His friends, even old reliable best buddy Sammy, no longer seem to appreciate Mitchie's sparkling wit. His parents are so busy gushing over his perfect older brother that they don't have time for Mitchie. One by one, he alienates his best friend, family, teachers, and former soccer coach with his bullheadedness and his inappropriate and ill-timed sense of humor. With his penchant for hurting people and insulting people, Mitchie makes a convincing jerk. Mitchie knows he's a little too young to be in a serious slump, but what can he do about it? Purchase the book that countless readers recommend anywhere that you buy books: Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Audible, Apple Books, Google Play, and more. So, Trine University Softball plays tomorrow at 4 p.m. I basically have the entire morning off tomorrow. I'm going to wake up, and instead of doing my usual morning workout, I am going to go for a walk. I found a hiking trail that is really close to where our hotel is. So I'm going to go take a little 4-mile hike, a walk. I'm going to take a 4-mile hike in the morning, so I'm looking forward to that when it's maybe like 70 degrees instead of 88 degrees. I was going to do it this afternoon, and after we had practice, we had nothing else from like 3 until now. The team obviously did. They're at the banquet now, but I didn't. I was going to do it this afternoon, but I was like, nope, fuck it. It's too hot. I'll do it in the morning since we've got the entire morning off. So we play at 4 o'clock tomorrow. If you are listening to this and want to tune in and watch, you can probably find it on the NCAA website. Just go to the NCAA's website and go to the DIII Softball page. I'm sure that they will advertise the broadcast somewhere on there. But yeah, the Tryon women play tomorrow at 4 o'clock. You're guaranteed 2 games. There's a loser's bracket, so if we lose, we go to the loser's bracket, and if you lose again, then you're out. I could be here until next Tuesday. I could be here a full week if we go to the national championship game. It seems like not a lot of people are anticipating that. Apparently, the team we play, Illinois Wesleyan, tomorrow, has the best pitcher in the country in Division III softball. I don't know what that looks like. I'd love to tell you that I'm excited. I'm really not. It's been cool to be. It really has been cool to be around softball. I have a new affinity for softball. I don't think it's incredibly stupid like I used to. Yeah, it's just been cool. The team camaraderie I thought was always really stupid. All the fucking chanting and cheering, but they're just fucking girls out here having fun, man. The weather's fucking beautiful. And softball and baseball are so relaxing. They're just fucking leisurely sports, man. It's great. You're just kind of hanging out, sitting in the dugout. Even when you're on the field, you're just kind of hanging out on the field, chilling, spitting some sunflower seeds. Every once in a while, you'll run to catch a ball, run to back up a throw or whatever. It's just a really relaxing sport, and there's something about watching people field ground balls that's really satisfying to me. I don't know what it is or why. There's something about a well-fielded ground ball that I really like. So yeah, I am excited to film. I'm going to put together an all-access video, kind of like what I did with the Tryon volleyball team when I went with them a couple of years ago to Niagara Falls, and what I did with the Tryon men's basketball team for the MIAA tournament about 3 or 4 years ago now, when I first started working for the university. That's my favorite thing to do, these all-access videos on trips. I'm gonna interview a bunch of the softball girls and the head coach to try to get like a story put together, basically, that I can sort of build a story around this whole trip. And yeah, I'm just excited to be able to do a project that I really want to do, because these all-access things to me are really, really fun. No one tells me how long it can be or to change shit about it. I just put together a story. I ask all my own questions in the interviews, and this is what I love about my job. Like what I'm doing right now, this is what I love. I've never been to fucking Texas, and here I am in Texas, filming sports. It's way better than sitting next to Dean in a fucking cubicle all week in Angola, Indiana. Don't get me wrong, I do really love my life in Angola, but this is a nice change of pace, and I'm fucking living the dream. I hate it when people say that. I hate it, because most of the time when people say that they're living the dream, they fucking hate their life. But for me right now, this is really, really great. So thanks for listening to the I Can Do Anything podcast, and have a fucking great day. You know, it's 88 here in Tyler, Texas. Now it's 87. Wherever you're at and however warm or cold it is, you can do anything.